Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. It's me, Adanna Combie, and Marcus Daniel is also here with me in studio. And as you know, we are on Amplia 102. So thank you for staying with us. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for all the support you've given us. We're heading straight into our next interview, and we are speaking with Fire Prevention Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Services, and his name is Jude Rogers. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the hurricane season and how to prepare. Good morning, sir, and welcome to our program.
Good morning to the listeners. Good morning to Tobago Updates and the whole of Tobago. Well, really happy to be here with you this morning.
We're happy to have you. So we know we've entered into the hurricane season. Have we entered into the hurricane season? I believe, yes. And we know we have.
Yes,
Go
we have.
ahead. We have, right.
Yes, we have officially entered into the hurricane season. It was declared by the Meteorological Service of Trinidad and Tobago. And so the beginning of June this year, we've started the hurricane season. And that is supposed to run all the way down to December of this year. So being prepared, I think it caught us a little bit off guard because a lot of persons were not aware. And so this is why we have to do these programs. This is why we have to educate the public and bring persons up to speed basically on what they need to do, especially when it comes to preparing your emergency kit, preparing your vehicles, preparing your homes, etc., etc.
Right, as well as protecting your animals. That's something that we sometimes forget, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the key things that we have to consider as we enter into the hurricane season? What are the key things we have to consider? What do we have to put in place? Let's talk about the emergency kits. What are some of the things we need to ensure we have?
All right, okay, so firstly, the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service is advising persons that we should at least try during this period. We know that there are economic challenges that we face, but there's some basic things that you need to have in your hurricane kit. Namely, you need to have a basic first aid kit, which has your basic items such as items to sanitize, plasters, bandages, probably a little bit of Panadol, different things that we may need if someone were to get cut. If someone we need to stop bleeding or anything of the sort, we may not be able to get to medical services directly because of the hurricane season, because of the hurricane weather. So we asking you to have a safety kit in terms of a medical kit. Also, obviously, we need to have flashlights. We need to have electrical batteries that we can replace. We need to have a transistor radio so that we can keep abreast of the news to get our updates. We should always have a fire extinguisher, a basic fire extinguisher. And for the home, we're recommending a 10-pound ABC dry chemical powder extinguisher, that you have that safely located in your home. We want persons to know that they should have like a clean clothing put away in some sort of weatherproof container, mainly. Some dry food, canned foods, dry foods. And I would want to add this, a whistle. Now, you may ask, well, why would you need to have a whistle? But if rescue efforts are taking place, so let's say to rescue you and your family, let's say you're inundated with floodwaters, etc., we would need to be able to locate you to know that you are actually still in your home or wherever you may be. A whistle is there to alert the authorities as to your actual location. So you understand the importance of these basic items in your emergency kit during this hurricane season.
Fantastic. Mr. Rogers, Marcus Daniel here. One would associate hurricane preparedness with the ODPM or even TEMA, that's the Tobago Emergency Management Agency here in Tobago. How does the fire service fit into this whole scheme of preparedness? You just mentioned a list of items that households should have in case of emergency, but hurricane season, there's a let's say a tropical storm. Who should I call? From whom? Call the fire service, call the TEMA, call the UDPM? Who has first response here?
Well, that's an excellent question. And so the point about it is, Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service is the actual first responder. You would find that the trouble calls may come into the ODPM. They may come into the municipal corporation, the corporations. But those calls are sent to the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. Our teams are geared based on the type of vehicles we have, based on the type of response. We have a land search and rescue teams. we would respond firstly to those adverse trouble warnings, those trouble calls, fallen trees, persons inundated with flood water, persons with medical issues. Someone has to extract those persons.
Right.
Even situations where there are vehicular accidents as a result of. And with that in mind, I also want to warn drivers, please do not try to breach flood waters. Please also don't go into flood waters, that swiftly moving waters. You may have to be rescued by the fire service as a result of that.
And what are some of the strategies that the fire service would have put in place to get the message out to persons? Because, you know, they like to say God is a Trini. You know, how are you getting your message across to persons just to be prepared for this season?
All right, so what I would let you know is that together with the ODPM, there would have been a launch through their agency, as they are the overriding agency. They are the custodians of all of our emergency response after the flooding, after the hurricane. They have the mattresses, they have the different items that will bring relief, whereas the fire service are your first responders that will identify the threat areas, and we will actually go in and make the rescue. So what we did, or what we have been doing, is partnering with other members of the Ministry of National Security, particularly the ODPM, as well as the TTPS as well, would be part of the response to these types of disasters. So instead of us trying to go it alone, we are part and we fall under the umbrella together with the ODPM in getting that message across. Together with that as well, we have also Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, because without them, we would not get those early warning. Those early warning gives us that adequate time to go to the grocery, to go to the hardware, to get the board, to board up the windows, to get the minor grocery items. But the fire service message to you today is, don't wait till it's the last minute. We know that we are in the hurricane belt and we are in the hurricane season. Begin storing up items, even if it's month by month. You buy a little bit of items and you put it away into your emergency kit.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Officer Jude Rogers, for that information this morning. Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and all of our viewers who are listening to us this morning, you heard it. We are in the hurricane season and we need to be prepared. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, Marcus. Education is very important. He said two key things that I didn't even consider. One, getting a whistle. It's something I never thought about. And having clean clothes in a dry, weatherproof container. I did not think about those two things. So those are two things I learned today. Thank you, guys. All our guests that appeared on the show today, we thank you so much for being with us on this first day of us being on Amplia 102. It was a pleasure hosting with you, Marcus. It's a pleasure being on Tobago Updates. My family, as you could see, our brand new billboard in the background. We are so excited. We're so happy. But guys, we have to go now. And before we go, we are heading over to Tobago Notes. And right after, GMT is up next. This is where we leave you. I am Adanna Combie.
I'm Marcus Daniel.
Thank you.